Hello, everyone. I want to look into Prince Andrew's arrest as requested. I have a list up of details about it, and then we're going to do the same format. Put this one in the middle. As before, as always, this is an energy reading. It's all alleged, my opinion, not facts. Shuffle on camera. All right. Image scrub came out. All right, so Prince Andrew was arrested on his B-Day. Probably not the best gift. All right, give me a second. Let me clean this up first. All right. As always, this is an energy reading. It's all alleged, my opinion, not facts. Former Prince Andrew, because he was stripped of that already, not because of this arrest, prior to this arrest. Now Andrew Mountbatten Windsor was arrested on February 19th, 2026, as he turned 66. Protected witness in reverse. So I'm doing the same format as before. What should the question be? This is the question. This is the answer. What question should we be asking about? What was the reason that he was the particular fruit that had to be cut from the low-hanging tree? Digital. Oh. Is it fair to say that that's why they've been pushing all the imagery about him from the beginning-ish, because they always knew from then that he was going to be one of the big arrests in the beginning? Rights as in he is in the proper position so that people feel like hopeful for other accountability. Yeah, reputation laundering. Trying to get people to feel a certain way, to feel good about it. What question should we be asking about why it was decided to do this on his birthday? Because that's not a coincidence. Things like that with that number and that status symbol and that alignment with everything else is not a coincidence. And it makes me think specifically of the 33-degree Masons times 2, 33, 33. Almost like a symbolic walls closing in on you feeling, but the message wasn't directed at Andrew. It was directed at, like, I view it as all of the low-hanging fruit players are all the shield for a bigger player that's behind them. I feel like this move specifically on the 66th birthday is like symbolic of walls closing in on you of whomever is behind Andrew's shield. So what question should we be asking about that? Collusion pact in reverse. And I have a hot hands thing, and it was like burning my leg. I forgot it was there. Hot pocket, because that's where your wallet would be. Collusion pact in reverse. Would it be fair to what question should we oh, no, hold on. This is the question. So my question is, it's like there's someone behind Andrew's shield that wanted to or intended to or tried to buy their way out of accountability, and Andrew going down now on this date at this time specifically is a sign to whomever is shielded by him. It's the other side saying, "We're coming for you specifically, no deal." Like, you know how in prison they'll throw the notes across the floor or slide the notes across the floor to talk? This was their like note being slid in across the floor. Like the one side had already said, "Hey, I want to avoid accountability through this." And the response to that was, "No, here's Andrew getting arrested on this very symbolic date." Greed in reverse. Yeah, no deal. You can't buy your way out of this. So then this one would be, can't buy your way out of this. Can't buy your way out of what? I mean, we know what. No, it wouldn't be that. Who is the person behind the shield to Andrew? Oh, Lord. Official denial. Someone big that's connected directly to Andrew. It's giving family that hasn't gone down for anything yet is who is about to be exposed. Because now it's obvious, how did you get to this person? It's not reaching, it's just going through the door that was opened by Andrew. Card behind this. The co-signer. I think that that has something to do with why the family, besides obvious reasons, is like, "Hey, we can't help you, buddy," because the threat isn't really Andrew was the low-hanging fruit that was always gonna get cut, but he's also a bargaining chip of some sort. Like, he was the response of no deal from one side to the other, allegedly. Alright. The arrest was made by Thames Valley Police on suspicion of misconduct in public office, a serious common law offense in the UK. What question should we be asking? Decoy in reverse, mask off. Mask off. What question should we be asking about mask off? What specifically do they hope to eventually expose by Andrew's arrest saga? Caught in reverse. Okay, so in the reading that I did where I said about the quote, "The first arrest will shock the world," I didn't say the quote. I was doing a reading about the quote. I think Trump said the quote. I forgot to look it up. Anyway, I don't think that Andrew's arrest is the arrest that that reading was referring to. Because in my mind, I was reading on a US person. I don't think I vocalized that, but in my mind, I felt like I was reading for a US person, as not that this arrest isn't to some degree shocking for people who didn't see it coming, right? But like, I don't think that it's what that reading was referring to. However, the catch and release thing is in alignment, like caught and then got released quickly, I'm pretty sure. Held in question for around 11 or 12 hours before being released later that same day under investigation. He's not been charged. Is it fair to say that Andrew's arrest is not the arrest that that previous reading was referring to? Crisis actor. Yeah, no. 'Cause crisis actor gives, like, exactly how I explained the low-hanging fruit thing, like a pre-planned event. Everyone knew that he was gonna be the one in that position to be cut when it was time. It's just also seconding as as a response to no thank you from one side to the other. Healing, recovery, alignment in reverse. The arrest was made on suspicion of misconduct in public office. What question should we be asking about how his actual like unfolding of guilt will go? Gag order in reverse. Oh, are they playing chess? Oh my gosh, that makes sense. Acting drama. Hold on, let me think this in my brain out. Side A for this example is the side that Andrew's a part of. It's whoever's behind Andrew's shield. Think chess. Think like when you send a pawn out so that they don't swipe your knight or something, right? My heating pack was making me sweat. Okay. So side A says to side B, hey, we know all this stuff's coming out. Let's keep my name clear of it. I offer you blah, blah, blah. It's almost like the timing of this happening is somehow proof from side B. So Andrew would have to be connected to side B then. Andrew has, hold on. Andrew, side A, side B. Andrew, fam, connect via bad things. Okay. Side A. Andrew is connected to side A via a family connection. Andrew is connected to side B via doing bad things together connection. Andrew needed to appease side B, so side B would not get Andrew found out for doing these bad things before it was time for Andrew to get found out for doing these bad things. So side A is saying, hey, side B, keep us free and clear, or keep someone in specific free and clear of what's coming out over here. And if you do, we'll keep Andrew protected, because Andrew could turn on people over here. He's being used as a pawn. I don't know why that keeps getting fuzzy. It's a teacher's thing, so you would think it wouldn't. Anyway, so side A makes an offer to side B, and side B says no deal. So they are putting him in position to turn on certain people over here. Allegedly. Quite literally, the king sacrificing the pawn to protect the king or whomever else is very closely connected to the king, allegedly, my opinion, no facts. Quiet promotion. I don't know. Next one. Oh, caregiver medical staff in reverse, because Andrew is extremely disposable to both sides. He's realized that for a while, but he's about to really see how disposable he is to both sides, and how much he's been used as a pawn, because both sides planned on getting to a place where they could discard him for no blink of an eye at the end. Detention facility. Next. Come on, phone. There we go. He was held and questioned. He was held and questioned for around 11 to 12 hours before being released later that same day under investigation. He has not been charged. I think we just did that one, but I read it again. What question should we ask about him needing to be on record under oath saying certain things so that they can be in place later for when side A is ready to use him to turn on certain things about side B when side A needs to make some kind of play to distract and defend the king? Stakeout and surveillance. Oh, good God. They had to have him giving eyewitness accounts on record under oath. Trapped. Oh my God. It's about Trump, isn't it? Compliance fatigue. We're done playing along. Card behind compliance fatigue. So they had to do all of this, and they did it in a very specific date and way so that one side could give a symbolic message to the other side. And essentially one side was saying, hey, we'll sacrifice him too. We don't care. To make a point, come at me. You want him sacrificed? He's sacrificed, but we're going to be the ones to sacrifice him, not you. Like, we're going to get the benefit from sacrificing him. What's the benefit? The benefit is him going on record under oath saying a bunch of things that implicate Trump, so that later they can use it and say, well, it was on record all the way back then. And also, well, as soon as it was on record, we took XYZ action steps, whatever, accordingly. They need to have a start date of when they started addressing things, and they need it to be on record that what is being addressed is then being acted on. Biblical. I saw a post this morning, and it said it's like we're in the fall. The card behind biblical is going to be the answer. It said it's like we're reliving the fall of the Roman Empire, but with memes. Okay. Historical reference. Gotcha. Next. Okay, so they needed him to be on the record saying certain things. They're not all going to come out now. They're meant for later. Next. The investigation centers on allegations that he may have shared or forwarded confidential government information with Jeffrey Epstein during his time as a UK trade envoy based on newly released documents from the Epstein files. What question? Double agent. Obviously. Oh, it's almost like it's almost like side B thought that they were a step ahead, but they're actually a step behind, right? Because Andrew, it's not like oopsie, he got caught. This is like he was sent in and purposefully sacrificed. Like you go in, not that it wasn't his choice also, but being seen and having all this dirt on him that could be exposed over here in the US, that was on purpose. They needed the focus to be there so that when he turned on them, it's not like he's making it up. We saw him there red-handed. You know what I mean? Science experiment in reverse. Yeah, it wasn't a will this work, will it won't. This was like a on purpose, not testing a hypothesis. This was like we've tested the hypothesis and now we're putting in place what we know will work. What will we know works? If he is seen there, Andrew, doing all this stuff, like you have to actually go through with certain things so that people who are going to do bad things around you are comfortable enough to do them around you. He was that. Yes, he did bad things. Yes, that was his free will choice. But was he sent in there to do the bad things so that other people would do the bad things about around him so that he could then later turn on them? Yeah, also, yeah, allegedly. Controlled leak. So, uh, card behind controlled leak. So the people who think that there's two sides playing chess, there is. Just one side is promoting it as if they're a few steps ahead. In chess, sometimes it can look like, okay, you might be getting into a sticky situation and then you make one move and it opens up the whole board, or it puts someone cornered in a way that they weren't previously expecting, or it blocks a move that they thought they were going to make that was pivotal to the next couple moves that came next. So yeah, one side could promote as if they're winning this game of chess and be sorely mistaken. But they still have the potential optics to make it look like they're telling the truth about winning when they're not. What's happening? Yeah. Counter moves on the world stage. Okay. I did that. Police conducted searches at multiple properties connected to him, including his home on Sandringham, and his former residence, Royal Lodge in Windsor, as part of the inquiry. What questions should we be asking about what they hoped to obtain from said searches? Systematic failure? Did they find anything that they were looking for in these searches, or was it like a nothing new to see here type thing? War. What were they hoping to find? Did they find it? War? So they found something. They found something that I guess it would be side A. They found something that side A didn't expect them to find? That wouldn't make sense. What am I missing? Script it. Police conducted searches at multiple properties. Systematic failure, war, scripted. If these are moves on the chessboard, they need to just go through all the pieces that whatever he said wasn't like, oh my goodness, I'm arrested. Let me answer these questions without having an idea of what I would say if I were arrested because I didn't expect to be arrested. This was like, hey, you're going to be arrested at this time. These are going to be the questions. These are going to be the answers. Let's keep it moving. So they found exactly what they were planning to find. And systematic failure, the card behind it will confirm. Systematic failure seems to be there's nothing that they found or didn't find that would cause the plan to go awry. Yeah, escape route. It's our way out. It's our way out, as in the person behind the shield, Andrew's the shield, the person behind the shield believes now with how this unfolded, this card will confirm, believes now with how this unfolded that Andrew is their ticket out of accountability. Like they think this plan that they have is going to work. These chess moves on the world stage. Yeah, behavioral shift in reverse. Everybody just keep up the same attitude, the same behavior, the same script, the same role. Everyone keep your role and everything will go according to plan. Everybody keep your role and it will go according to plan. Love in reverse. A family that runs off of fear. Yeah, manufactured consent. Just shut up and follow your plan. Okay, the arrest is not directly linked to sexual abuse claims, such as those made by Virginia Guffrey in her earlier civil cases. Those issues remain separate from the misconduct investigation. What question should we ask about one thing leading to another? Silent alarm in reverse. Loud alarm. Loud alarm as in a signal to the world that the chess match between good and evil has begun. And the 3D symbolism of that is church, or like the old kingdom version, aka Andrew's side, versus the side that they're playing chess against, which is the line leaders. Emotional sad. Everyone's seeing it. Everyone's seeing from a place of fear and like, we don't feel like dealing with this anymore. Everyone's seeing a very loud alarm that's playing out. That means something to us. To us, it looks like, ooh, accountability. First time for that, right? But to them, this is the signal of like, okay, the match has started. Everything else was preparing for this chess match, because they needed everybody watching the chess match because they're full of ego. Entertainment industry. They're full of ego and they're putting on a show, so they're gonna want us to watch it. All of the horse and pony show is so that we purchase tickets to their show. What is that? What you focus on. When you pay attention to something, you're buying that experience. They want us spending all of our money on attending their show as they play chess on the world stage and use all of us as the audience that's meant to be cheering for something that they don't intend on bringing. Peace. The tyrant. Because at the end of the day, it's king versus king, like king as in chess pieces, sides of the board. One side representing church and one side representing state. The Andrew arrest is symbolic of the game beginning because he's the one on the board that shows that the church side is on the board. And I kind of feel like because it's almost like the illusionary part of it is that the church side is church disguising itself as state, right? Because they also rule, or secondary meaning that is weighing as much as the first meaning because they're in charge, right? And then I feel like so Andrew's side, I feel like, is meant to be in this game. Think of it like a football game. What's their jerseys? Their jerseys is Andrew's side is the church side, but they go into state authority, right? And then I feel like the other side is the line leaders, which they are world leaders or they're represented that way, but really they want to be the gods, the religions. So it's like that's the battle we're seeing playing out. That's why it's so confusing to tell who's on whose side because they're both playing both roles. On the church side, they're also putting on the pants of state, and on the state side, they're also putting on the mask of trying to play God. So that's why it's confusing to figure out who's on which side of the chess match. But in the end, it's king versus king, like chess piece board king versus king. And I mean, they will do whatever it takes to protect their main pieces. They're going to protect their queen because she's powerful. She can move all over the board, right? They're going to, for example, Jeffrey and Ghislaine, for example, that's a good example. They're also going to protect like their bishops, their knights, because the pawns are the ones that they're like, no biggie, right? That's Andrew. Andrew has always been a pawn, and his role was written in. He didn't oopsie get caught. He went in and played his role, and now his role is being exposed as it was intended to protect the shield. Why would the shield need protection? Why would the shield need to even send Andrew in the first place? Information. Information is power. Information is key. You send someone like Andrew in, you have them do all the bad stuff, so the other people do bad stuff around them, thinking that they're just as bad as them, but really it's gathering intel and then running back and telling the person behind the shield, hey, this is what you need to know about your adversaries that were just kicking it with me at the island, allegedly. Next question. So anyway, the question that I asked before, I don't think that this was the arrest that my reading was referring to. Yes, it has some of the same similar attributes, and I saw people saying like, "Oh, that could be." I don't think it was. I really don't, because I think my arrest, the arrest to shock the world, I think that that is a U.S. arrest, and I think that that would shock the world because we don't expect anyone to be held accountable because it's literally all of them. All of them. They're all on it. Allegedly. Okay. The arrest was nope. This event was widely seen as unprecedented in modern British history, making it the first time a senior royal has been arrested since the 17th century. What question should we be asking about that? Solved in reverse. Unprecedented in modern British history, making it the first time a senior royal official was arrested. Unsolved. Why is it that Andrew is not getting away with things that others have done before him but were protected from? Why is he the one that's paying for things that he's not the first one to do it, certain things or bad things in general, but why is erase that. Okay, since the 17th century. It's clear with what's going on in the world that people in this group that they're talking about haven't just been innocent of everything since the 17th century. So why is it that Andrew is the first one to not be protected and shielded by a blanket of innocence that had protected those before him? Corrupted media source in reverse to expose the truth. They're playing chess and they needed Andrew to expose someone in the US side. Elephant in the room. Yeah, I was like, I should just say it. They need Andrew to expose someone on the US side because it forces the US to start to hold people accountable in a way that we're not right now. It's a chess move. Because it's kind of giving either like poop or get off the pot, that quote, like either you're going to, after this chess move made by them, either you're going to start to do arrests, which will be a domino effect that will crash the whole system, or you're going to have to do something that seizes power like martial law. That's their move that they're setting up for the US, allegedly, my opinion, not facts. Behind elephant. The elephant is freedom of speech. Whatever the next move that side A makes using Andrew as a pawn, whatever the next move that they make is, it's going to signal the US to, you know, when there's a bug and you put a cup over it and try to hold it in place so it can only run around that little circle. The bug is our freedom of speech, and the cup is what the US government is going to do after not this chess move, but the next chess move made using Andrew as a pawn. Whatever they do that's big next with him, we're going to see freedom of speech go. Why? Because side B knows that side A is making a counter move. I think there's two different scenarios here, right? I think it's side A playing against side B, but there's two different side Bs. There's side A playing against side B, where side A is Andrew's side and side B is the US. And then there's side A playing against side B, where side B is not the US, but is the line leaders. It's like there's two different games going on at the same time. And the line leaders are winning both, and the side A is winning one. Hopefully that makes sense. Maybe I'll try to draw another picture of what I'm seeing if I remember. So why is he not protected by the same shield that others were protected by, even if they did bad things? We know they weren't all innocent since the 17th century. They obviously were protected. Why is he not? Because that was his designed role from the beginning, to go in, get other people to do bad things so that he could give the intel to whomever was behind the shield, because that is the person that's in charge of making the chess moves for that team in particular, allegedly. The arrest was prompted in part by a formal complaint from the anti-monarchy group Republic, which called for police to investigate potential misconduct. What question should we be asking? After hours in reverse. Who is clocking in for what? Who is clocking in for what? Self-sabotage in reverse. So those that are coming in to investigate are clocking in. We'll fix this. Are coming in for what? Clocking in for what? Sealed testimony. So this side is saying, hey, he's on the board now. We got all of that in there. Your move next, right? Side B, your move next. Either side B, you can do what we want, or you just saw we're willing to sacrifice Andrew. We'll just have him run his mouth as much as we need him to. Which was the point of his pawn position from the beginning. Behind this. Hall of Mirrors, yeah. I see there, I see there. Oh, I do that. I see you doing that. Let me do that too. Because if I do that too in front of you, you're going to do the next worst thing that you can think of in front of me because you know I'm on your level. Oh, you want to take a picture of me doing this? Please do. Please go post it because this is the point of my role. Allegedly, Andrew. King Charles III publicly stated that the law must take its course and offered support for the investigatory process without commenting on specifics. What question should we be asking about his statement? Profile match? King Charles wants to be a match for what? Collapse? Oh, he's trying to pin himself on the right side of history. Jurisdiction shopping. All right, buddy. Okay. Additional UK police forces, such as the Metropolitan Police, are reviewing documents from the Epstein files and have contacted former protection officers seeking any relevant information. What question should we be asking? Breaking and entering? Reviewing documents from the Epstein files. In their review of the Epstein files, in reference to or like in the same corner as Andrew's arrest, in their review of the files, what breakthrough have they had by entering the documents? Crossroad. So if you're standing on one side of the street, think Frogger, and there's something on the other side of the street, like a sign or a person or something, and you're trying to see what it is, but there's buses going by and you have to squint. They were able to get across the street to see something up close that they had only known from a distance. What is it? Authority expansion? I have to go back and find the reading. I said that somebody wanted to expose the US not for what they did before, but for what they continued to do after knowing the consequences. I don't know when I did that reading. I think it was on YouTube. What else did I say? I said somebody wanted to pick the perfect right timing After there had been a new additional denial, like deny it again, go ahead. And then somebody wanted to, from the outside the US looking in, wanted to prove or show that not only did someone do something before, but they continued to do it, and then they continued to deny and play in people's faces as they actively did something that they were claiming to not be a part of. Someone from the outside the US wants to expose someone from inside the US for that. That's this, allegedly, I think. I'm gonna pull the card behind this. Um, confirm first before I say the next part. Viral. Yeah, because the news that they have would go viral. Should I just say what I'm thinking? A reckoning. I give up. All right. So let me try to think how to explain this. So hypothetically, allegedly, let's say that our government, allegedly, had something in these files, which we know the next part about what I'm about to say, we know something that shouldn't have been taken out for good reason. There was no good reason to block this, take it out, but it never made any of the documents that were released, right? In them being able to review and access the Epstein documents, they needed to make sure that the US had been willing to scrub something that should not have been scrubbed. There's no good reason to scrub this. This should be in there if the people are getting the truth and being able to make proper decisions going forward. This particular thing would change a lot of people's minds if it was in there. They needed to be able to look at the records to make sure that the version that they were given did not include this thing that they know is in there, because they know that the person who also has the hard proof of this is Andrew, because he was a party to it. And if he has hard evidence of it, and our entire government is saying that doesn't exist, that's not it, we don't know what you're talking about with that. It's like indisputable proof that would make someone's excuses or contradictions or denials be completely invalid for anything ever again. Card behind this. Am I on the right track? It would make them look like a clown, yeah. Okay, so if the US is saying this, we don't have this, that would, if we upheld the law, we showed you this and that and what we were supposed to show you. But if there's proof of something being missing and Andrew has it, that's the play that the other side is making, because they're saying, hey, you're going to do what we want now, because if not only do we have this, but we have him on record, recorded and under oath, talking about its existence. So now you can't just even erase him and come and get him. Doesn't matter. Come get him. We don't care. We have evidence. Because for Andrew, because remember, if he's a double agent playing both sides, he had to do the bad stuff over here. They have stuff on him too, right? That's worse than what we know about, I'm sure. This side knows that just sending him out to just start talking about people, that would be dangerous. They could just come take him out, right? Obviously. Either remove him and hide him or bye-bye him, right? They needed him to be on record saying these things. So, okay, if you do take him out, it doesn't matter. This just wasn't like a happenstance conversation. The man was arrested and gave statements after arrest. So even if side B is like, oh, we're going to come get rid of him now, go ahead. We have it on record. That's all we needed. Andrew's role, I mean, I'm sure there's more that they're going to have him do, but the big role he was supposed to play, that's complete now. I mean, to some extent, he needed to get to a point where he got dirt, got proof, got evidence, and then got arrested to get it on record, so that the one side could say to the other side, hey, you're going to do what we want now, or what we tell you to do now, or whatever it is now. You're going to stand down and make something easier for us now, whatever it is, because if not, we can simply just release the proof that you're telling the entire body of people doesn't exist. And the proof or evidence of this is the timing. Andrew was arrested after Pam Bondi said, hey, we're not giving you nothing else. You've seen everything you're going to see here. That's why Andrew was then arrested, because then they could say, okay, that's your final document. Let's look through everything and see if that paper's in there that we're looking for. Oh, it's not? We know who has it. Andrew. Protecting allies. Allegedly. This is giving me a headache. Okay. Reviewing files. I did that. Legal experts have noted that if he were ever charged and convicted of misconduct in public office, he could potentially face a life sentence, although such sentences are rare and would depend on the Crown Prosecution Service's decision. Crown Prosecution Service's decision. CPS. In the US, CPS is the group that takes children out of homes. Huh. What question should we be asking about what Andrew faces up ahead? Operation Cover-Up? So how are they going to have him avoid a worst case scenario here? What's their ploy or their tactic? Church? Come on. Just wiggling it down and buying time and this and that. They're not going to protect him, but they're going to protect him from worst case scenario until they can get him into a place where it's like, am I on the right track? Media reframe, yeah. Let's clean this up and make it look like that. There's some kind of deal coming. It's going to be like a bit of accountability with a slap in the face to the people who think that that's accountability. Quicksand. If someone is going in quicksand and they're going down, 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 obviously the people behind them in their corner aren't going to want to jump in right at first. But like if they get pulled down deep enough where they're going to not be able to have oxygen, the one side is trying to bait the other side out. Like, oh, if you don't come out now, his lungs are going to collapse. He's not going to be able to breathe under the quicksand. You better come out last minute and get him. They're trying to get that to happen. One side to the other. Border, yeah, one side to the other. Come out, wherever. I said there's two side Bs. The line leader group, I said it's 4 people, I believe. That does not include the king. I'll tell you that. I'm not saying who it is because I like being alive, but it's not the king. So if the king knows that he has one over on the US side, his next opponent is the line leaders. The king is trying to bait out the line leaders to see who he's up against or what move he needs to make. Risk transfer, yeah, from you to you. I don't know. Seems like peace is just so much easier. The arrest and ongoing investigation have sparked broader discussion and calls for Epstein-related accountability in both the UK and the US. I don't know. What question? My brain is gonna media blackout. Because they know that they're going towards the world is going towards some kind of blackout, some kind of blue beam, project blue beam, some kind of like we're they know that there's some kind of date coming soon that's going to change the entire world dynamic. So it's like they're okay with getting things as chaotic until then because they know that when that point comes, anything that's not working in our favor, we're just going to wipe it out with the blackout. What data, what evidence? We don't, it went away. The aliens took it. DNA. The system was made to eventually crash so that they could conveniently get rid of all the evidence that it took them to build up to the point that we're at now. So they could only show us what they wanted us to see when they got into a seated position of power. Plausible deniability. We don't know anything about that. Who? Epstein? Don't know who you're talking about. That's my last number on there. How should we close? What's my closing question? Civil unrest in reverse. They're going to use the arrest of Andrew to try and piss us off in what way? The way they always do. Routine, habit, typical. Privilege buys you protection even when you're literally caught red-handed. Two wings, same bird. All actors in a play, and we are watching the scene in which they write a bunch of actors off that aren't meant to return for the next season. Because they're scaling down the amount of people more and more and more and more and more until it's just 4 actors on the stage, and those 4 actors on the stage are the 4 horsemen, aka the 4 people, the 4 line leaders, and once it's just them on the stage, they're going to tell the audience that the door is locked and nobody can leave and that they're in charge now. And they're going to have the backed support of AI and surveillance and everything else that they needed that they're putting in place now via the current administration because they have been sold out. Empath versus narcissist. The light versus the dark. We're watching spiritual warfare play out on the world stage. Love wins. It's just how long are we going to put up with watching this before we realize that we don't have to give them the opportunity to make the world filled with so much hate anymore. We can change that tide by coming together, but coming together requires everybody to say, "Hey, we're not gonna accept this," which requires, unfortunately, a lot of the people who are still thinking that the people who caused this chaos are coming back to fix it, those are the people that need to get on board with saying, "Okay, we're not gonna allow this either." Two wings, same bird. This is all alleged, my opinion, not fact. Thank you for watching. There's no facts here. I am not planning on harming myself or anyone else. I love my life, very happy, like staying alive, want to keep doing that. Thank you for watching.